Listen closely because this is a truth you don't want to hear, but it's the truth you need. For far too long, you've been pampering yourself, making excuses, seeking validation, and waiting for things to get easy. But here's the harsh reality: nobody cares until you win. People aren't interested in your struggles, they want to see results. They don't care about your comfort zone or your excuses, they care about your success. It's time to stop indulging in self-pity and start putting in the work. You want respect, you want admiration, then start winning. People love a good story of triumph, but they don't care about the struggle that came before it. They don't care how many sleepless nights you've had, how many sacrifices you've made, or how hard it was for you to get to where you are now. All they care about is whether or not you've won. The world isn't looking for your pity or your excuses, they're looking for results. That's the reality. Every successful person you admire, every person you see achieving great things has faced struggles. But here's the kicker: they didn't sit around talking about them. They didn't complain about how hard it was. They didn't look for validation or sympathy. They simply put in the work, kept grinding, and turned their struggles into stepping stones. Let's talk about this from a real-world perspective. Think about someone like Elon Musk. The man didn't start as a tech genius. In fact, when he started, he had to endure failure after failure. People laughed at him, ridiculed his ideas, and thought he was crazy. At one point, he had no money, no support, and even his own family thought he was wasting his time. He could have sat there, wallowed in self-pity, and said, "Why is this happening to me? Why can't people understand?" But he didn't. He pushed forward. And the result of his relentless pursuit, a company that changed the entire car industry and is revolutionizing space travel. Now, let's bring it closer to home. Think about someone who's working on building their career. They wake up early every day, put in long hours at a job that doesn't appreciate them, all while trying to juggle family responsibilities and personal dreams. Nobody sees the effort. Nobody sees the late nights spent working on side projects, learning new skills, or hustling to get ahead. But no one cares about that. All they see is the person who's now succeeding. They see the promotion, the accolades, and they want to know how that person did it. But here's the thing: they don't see the long road that person walked. They don't see the countless failures, the disappointments, the moments of doubt. They only see the victory. We all go through struggles. It's part of life. But what makes the difference between those who rise and those who remain stuck is the ability to keep moving forward despite those struggles. I'll give you another example. Think about a professional athlete. Whether it's basketball, football, or tennis, these athletes go through intense physical and mental pain to get to the top. They suffer injuries, they sacrifice family time, and they endure criticism. But in the public eye, all people see is the glory of winning, the trophies, the fame. They don't care about the months spent in recovery from a torn ligament, the sleepless nights before a big game, or the emotional toll of being away from loved ones. Nobody cares about their struggles. They care about the win, and so should you. The thing is, the struggle doesn't define you. How you handle that struggle, how you rise from it, that's what defines you. The world doesn't care about how hard it is for you to get there. They care about whether or not you make it. They care about the results you deliver. So stop thinking people owe you sympathy. Stop looking for validation in your struggle. It's time to stop wallowing in the pain of the process and start focusing on the victory that comes at the end. Because the truth is, the only thing that matters is the result. And once you understand that, you'll stop letting your struggles hold you back. Here's the truth: the people who succeed are the ones who keep pushing even when no one is watching. They keep working when everyone else is giving up. They keep grinding when everyone else is making excuses. And they don't waste time explaining their struggle to anyone. Because in the end, no one cares about your struggle. They only care about what you've accomplished. So if you want to win, if you want to stand out, stop worrying about the fact that it's hard. Stop waiting for someone to acknowledge your pain. Just keep moving forward. And when you make it, when you achieve what you set out to do, that's when people will start noticing. And at that point, they want to know how you did it. And the answer: you kept going when no one else did. Comfort is the silent killer of dreams. It's the place where ambitions go to die, where potential is wasted, and where people settle for mediocrity. When you're comfortable, you stop growing, you stop pushing yourself, you stop striving for more. The moment you find comfort in a situation is the moment you start becoming complacent, and that's where growth comes to a halt. You might think comfort is a reward for your hard work, but it's actually a trap. It's easy to confuse comfort with contentment, but contentment doesn't lead to greatness. It leads to stagnation. Comfort is not a place of success, it's a place of surrender. Look around you. Think about the people you admire, the ones who inspire you, whether they're successful entrepreneurs, athletes, or even everyday people who've done extraordinary things. Do you think they got to where they are by staying in their comfort zone? No, they stepped out of it. They took risks, faced hardships, and challenged themselves every single day. Comfort is never part of the equation when you're trying to achieve something meaningful. Take a moment to think about a time in your life when you had to push yourself beyond your limits. Maybe it was that first job interview, that time you started a new project, or that moment you decided to get in shape. Remember the fear, the uncertainty, and the discomfort that came with it. But remember how it felt when you pushed through that discomfort and came out on the other side. There's something about that feeling of accomplishment that makes you realize growth doesn't happen in your comfort zone. It happens in the unknown, in the challenging moments, in the times when you feel like giving up a push forward anyway. Let's talk about a real world example. Think about someone trying to lose weight. We all know how hard it is to commit to a fitness routine. It's not easy. It takes discipline, consistency, and most of all, stepping outside of your comfort zone. Imagine you've been living a sedentary life, eating whatever you want, and avoiding exercise because it's just too hard. That's comfort. It feels good in the moment, but it's ultimately holding you back. Now, picture yourself stepping into the gym for the first time. It's uncomfortable, intimidating, and you want to give up. But you don't. You push through. The next day, the next week, the next month, you keep showing up. At first, your body protests, but over time, you start seeing results. The discomfort becomes part of the process, and eventually, it leads to change. But none of that happens without stepping outside of your comfort zone. Comfort never leads to transformation. Discomfort does. Think about an entrepreneur who's starting a business. It's easy to get comfortable with a regular 9-to-5 job. It's safe, it's predictable. You know when the paycheck is coming, and there's little risk involved. But an entrepreneur who dreams of creating something bigger has to step away from that comfort. They have to risk financial stability, social status, and even their own peace of mind. They have to face uncertainty and rejection over and over again. And it's hard, it's uncomfortable. But the truth is, that's where success lies, in the discomfort. Entrepreneurs understand that comfort doesn't lead to innovation or progress. They embrace discomfort because they know it's the only way to achieve something extraordinary. Think about how athletes push their limits every day. Their bodies scream for rest, their muscles ache with every movement, and they are constantly in pain. But they keep going. They step out of their comfort zone daily because they know that's the only way to reach the top. In the beginning, it's all about overcoming that initial discomfort. But as they continue, they adapt, and what was once uncomfortable becomes second nature. The discomfort becomes their strength. Comfort would never have taken them to the championship level. Discomfort did. Now, let's bring it even closer to home. Think about your own life. Are you living in a place of comfort right now? Are you avoiding challenges because they're too hard? Maybe you've gotten used to a routine that feels safe, but is limiting your growth. Maybe you've gotten comfortable with a job that doesn't fulfill you, a relationship that doesn't inspire you, or a mindset that keeps you stuck. Comfort feels nice in the short term, but it's a killer in the long term. When you let yourself stay comfortable, you're selling yourself short. You're telling yourself that the status quo is enough, but deep down, you know it's not. Comfort is the enemy of your potential. If you want to see real growth, you have to force yourself to be uncomfortable. That means trying new things, facing your fears, and challenging your limits. You have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. The pain, the struggle, the effort, it's all worth it when you realize that stepping out of your comfort zone is the only way to unlock your true potential. If you keep choosing comfort, you'll always be stuck in the same place. But if you embrace discomfort, if you keep pushing forward, you'll unlock a whole new level of success, happiness, and fulfillment. The best version of yourself doesn't exist in the safety of your comfort zone. It exists in the world of discomfort, where you're constantly evolving, constantly growing, and constantly becoming the person you were always meant to be. Step out of your comfort zone and start living the life you were born to live, because comfort is not your friend. It's the enemy of everything you've ever wanted to achieve. You can make all the excuses in the world, but at the end of the day, they won't get you anywhere. We all know how easy it is to come up with excuses. It's like a natural defense mechanism we use to protect ourselves from failure. I don't have enough time. It's too hard. I'm not good enough. We all have that little voice in our head telling us why we can't do something. But the truth is, excuses are just a way of accepting mediocrity. They are a way of saying, I'm okay with where I am right now. But if you're truly serious about achieving something meaningful, about changing your life, excuses have no place in your world. Results are all that matter. Look at any successful person, whether it's in business, sports, or even someone just making strides in their personal life. Do you think they got to where they are by making excuses? No, they got there by taking action, facing challenges head on, and relentlessly pursuing their goals. They didn't sit around talking about why things were difficult or why they couldn't make it. They simply put in the work, stayed consistent, and achieved results. And guess what? They still faced obstacles. They still had days when they felt like giving up, but they didn't let excuses define them. They let their results speak for themselves. Take someone who's trying to lose weight as an example. Every single day, they have to choose between getting up early to work out or staying in bed. Every day, they have to choose between reaching for the healthy meal or grabbing the junk food. It's easy to make excuses. It's easy to say, I'm too tired to work out today, or I'll start eating healthy tomorrow. But here's the thing, those excuses add up. And over time, they start to form a pattern that leads to stagnation and failure. Results, on the other hand, come from the decision to act despite the excuses. Those who succeed in fitness or health are the ones who keep going, even when they don't feel like it. They don't let temporary discomfort or fatigue become a reason to quit. They push through and make the result their priority. It's the consistency and commitment to action that brings the results. Now, Think about someone who's working on building a business. They might wake up early in the morning only to face a mountain of emails, meetings, and deadlines. At some point, they could throw their hands up and say, "This is too much for me." They could find every excuse to avoid the hard work. "I'm not getting enough traction. The market is tough," or "I'm not getting the support I need." But every time they make an excuse, they are moving further away from their goal. Successful entrepreneurs don't operate like that. They don't look for reasons why they can't do something. They look for solutions. They make the decision to keep going, to take that next step, to keep working, no matter how hard it gets. They understand that results come from action, not from excuses. Let's take it to a more personal level. Think about your own life. How many times have you talked yourself out of doing something because of an excuse? "I'm too old to start something new. I don't have enough experience. I don't have enough money." We've all been there. We all have those moments when it feels easier to let the excuses take over. But here's the thing. Every time you let an excuse control your actions, you're trading your potential for comfort. You're telling yourself that the pain of staying the same is easier than the discomfort of growing. But it's in the discomfort where true change happens. If you really want to change your life, you need to stop making excuses and start focusing on what you can do today to move closer to your goal. Results don't come from reasons why you can't. They come from reasons why you will. Consider an athlete. Every day, they get up and train even when their body is sore, even when they feel like they can't push any further. The excuses are there, and they could easily fall into the trap of believing them. But they don't. They keep training, keep pushing, because they know that every ounce of effort they put in is what will lead to the victory. It's easy to make excuses when the road gets tough. But those who make excuses will always remain stuck. Those who push through will always rise above. If you want to make a real difference in your life, it's time to stop making excuses and start focusing on results. It's time to stop telling yourself that the world is against you and start taking responsibility for your own success. Yes, life is tough. Yes, things will get hard, but that's the price of success. If you want to win, you have to be willing to face the challenges head on and take consistent action. Stop looking for reasons why you can't do something and start focusing on the reasons why you must. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is the result, not your excuses, not your struggles, but the results you create. Success doesn't care about your pain, no matter how hard life gets, no matter how many times you get knocked down. Success will never wait for you to feel better. It doesn't have sympathy. It doesn't take a break to let you heal. It doesn't pause because you're going through a tough time. Success is like a freight train. And if you're not moving with it, you'll get run over. It doesn't care about your struggles, your excuses, or your setbacks. It only cares about one thing. Are you willing to keep going no matter what? Take a moment to think about it. How many times have you been in pain, whether it's emotional, physical, or mental, and thought to yourself, "Just need a break"? Maybe you've gone through a breakup, lost a job, or experienced a major failure. In those moments, the last thing you want to do is push forward. You just want to sit there, wallow in your pain, and hope for things to get better. But that's not how success works. Success doesn't wait for you to feel better. It doesn't wait for you to be ready. It moves forward, whether you're ready or not. Look at successful people. Take any one of them, whether it's someone you admire in sports, business, or entertainment, and you'll find that they've faced pain, setbacks, and struggles. But the difference between them and others is that they didn't let their pain stop them. They didn't wait for things to get easier. They kept going despite the challenges. Take Michael Jordan, for example. Many people know him as one of the greatest basketball players of all time, but few know the pain he went through to get there. He was cut from his high school basketball team. He faced constant rejection, criticism, and doubt. But did he stop? Did he wait until he felt better, until the pain was gone? No. He used that pain as fuel. He understood that success doesn't care about your pain. It cares about your persistence. Think about a person who's trying to build a business. Building a business is hard. It's full of sleepless nights, endless emails, and challenges that seem impossible to overcome. There will be times when you'll feel like quitting, when the weight of the world feels too heavy to carry. But if you take a step back and think about the big picture, you'll realize that success doesn't care about your pain. No one cares if you're tired or frustrated or feeling overwhelmed. The world doesn't stop just because you need a break. Successful entrepreneurs know this. They push through their pain and keep working because they understand that success doesn't give out sympathy points. It only rewards those who stay in the game, no matter how difficult it gets. You might think about this in your own life too. Maybe you faced a setback, whether it's losing a job, going through financial struggles, or dealing with a personal loss. In those moments, pain can feel all-consuming. It can feel like the world is against you. But the reality is, success doesn't care about your pain. It doesn't wait for you to heal. It keeps moving forward, and if you want to be part of it, you have to move with it. Think about a person trying to get in shape. Every day they wake up sore, tired, and not feeling their best. They have to fight through the pain, both physical and mental. There are days when it feels impossible to keep going. But the results don't come from the days when you feel good. They come from the days when you don't feel like working out, but push through anyway. Success in fitness, just like in life, doesn't care about how you feel. It only cares about the effort you put in. There's another powerful example in sports. Think about a runner preparing for a marathon. They don't stop training because their legs hurt or because they're exhausted. They don't sit out because it's painful. They push through every moment of pain, every moment of doubt, because they know that success isn't waiting for them to feel better. It's waiting for them to keep moving. And that's the hard truth about life. It doesn't stop for you. Success doesn't pause while you lick your wounds. It's relentless, and it's those who are relentless, those who keep going despite the pain, that eventually find success. There's a powerful lesson here. Pain is part of the process. It's inevitable. Life is full of challenges, setbacks, and moments that will make you question everything. But in those moments, you have a choice. You can either give in to the pain and use it as an excuse to quit, or you can choose to keep going. You can choose to get up, dust yourself off, and take another step forward, because that's what success is built on. Not on feeling good, not on being comfortable, but on pushing through the pain and staying committed to your goal. It's about having the strength to keep going when everything inside you is telling you to stop. No one is immune to pain. No one escapes the challenges that life throws at them. But the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is the ability to keep going despite the pain. Success doesn't care about how you feel. It doesn't care about your struggles. It only cares about your ability to keep moving forward. So no matter how tough things get, no matter how many obstacles you face, remember this: success isn't waiting for you to feel better. It's waiting for you to keep going. And when you do, that's when the real transformation happens. Discomfort is something that everyone experiences. It's that feeling when you step outside your comfort zone, when things start to feel a little uncertain, a little unfamiliar. We've all been there, whether it's starting a new job, trying something new, or pushing yourself to achieve a goal you've never reached before. Discomfort is always a part of the process. But here's the thing: success doesn't happen when you're comfortable. Growth doesn't come from staying in the same place, doing the same things. If you want to grow, if you want to get ahead in life, you need to get comfortable with discomfort. Think about the times in your life when you felt the most proud of yourself. Was it when things were easy? Was it when everything was smooth sailing? Probably not. Your greatest achievements, the ones that really pushed you to your limits, came from moments of discomfort, when you were forced to face fear, doubt, and uncertainty, when you had to dig deep and push through obstacles. Those are the moments that shape you, that define your strength. But so many people avoid discomfort. They shy away from it, run from it, and look for ways to stay comfortable. They want the easy route, the path with no obstacles, no challenges. But that path doesn't lead anywhere meaningful. Comfort might feel good in the moment, but it will never lead to greatness. Take a moment to think about someone you admire. Maybe it's a successful entrepreneur, an athlete, or someone who's made a significant impact in their field. I guarantee you they didn't get to where they are by staying comfortable. They got there by embracing discomfort, by stepping out of their comfort zone and doing things that scared them. Look at someone like Elon Musk. He's taken countless risks, faced failure after failure, and endured extreme discomfort to get to where he is today. And yet he keeps pushing forward. Why? Because he knows that success is born from discomfort. Every challenge, every failure, every setback is an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to become better. Think about the process of building a business. In the early days, everything is uncomfortable. You're working long hours, making mistakes, dealing with uncertainty, and facing setbacks. It would be easy to quit, to say, this is too hard, I'm not cut out for this. But that's not how successful entrepreneurs think. They embrace discomfort. They take risks. They face challenges head on, and they keep going even when things get tough. Every failure is a lesson. Every obstacle is an opportunity to grow stronger, smarter, and more capable. Those who are willing to embrace discomfort are the ones who will make it to the top. Now think about fitness. Getting in shape is uncomfortable. There's no way around it. You have to push your body to its limits, feel the burn, and keep going even when you want to quit. It's easy to stay comfortable on the couch watching TV, eating junk food, but comfort will never get you in shape. The people who are successful in fitness are the ones who get up early, hit the gym, and push through the discomfort. They embrace the sweat, the soreness, and the fatigue, knowing that it's all part of the process. They understand that without discomfort, there's no progress, and the results they see are a direct reflection of their willingness to get uncomfortable. In every area of life, discomfort is a necessary part of growth. Whether it's in your career, your personal relationships, or your health, discomfort is the catalyst for change. But most people are afraid of it. They want the easy life, the path of least resistance. They want things to come to them without putting in the work, without having to struggle. But the truth is, nothing worth having comes easy. If you want success, you have to be willing to get uncomfortable. You have to be willing to face challenges, to step outside your comfort zone, and to do the things that scare you. Because it's in those moments when you're uncomfortable that you'll experience the most growth. It's also important to remember that discomfort is temporary. The pain, the fear, the struggle doesn't last forever. It's just a moment in time. And when you push through it, when you keep going even when it feels unbearable, you'll come out stronger on the other side. Think about the first time you did something difficult. Maybe it was a public speaking event, or maybe it was the first time you worked out after being inactive for a long time. It was uncomfortable, wasn't it? But once you pushed through, once you faced that discomfort and kept going, you probably felt an incredible sense of accomplishment. You realized that discomfort wasn't something to fear, it was something to embrace. The key is to not run from discomfort, but to lean into it. Recognize that discomfort is a sign that you're growing, that you're pushing yourself beyond what you thought was possible. When you start to feel uncomfortable, instead of retreating, you should embrace it and see it as a signal that you're on the right track. Because the more comfortable you get with being uncomfortable, the more you'll be able to achieve. You'll break through limits you never thought were possible. You'll accomplish things you never thought you could do. And eventually, you'll look back and realize that all of the growth, all of the success came from your willingness to step outside your comfort zone and get comfortable with discomfort. How many times have you stood in your own way? How many times have you stopped yourself from achieving what you know you could simply because you were afraid, doubted yourself, or listened to the negative voice in your head? The hardest battles are not fought outside of you, but within you. The truth is, you are your own biggest obstacle. No one is holding you back more than you are. No one is stopping you from reaching your full potential except you. Let's take a moment to think about this in real life terms. How many of us have dreams, goals, or things we want to achieve, but we don't take the necessary steps because of fear? Maybe you want to start a business, but are afraid of failure. Maybe you want to get fit, but can't get past the thought of not being good enough or not sticking with it. You want to be successful, but there's this voice in your head telling you that you're not capable. You want to do something, but instead of taking action, you find a reason not to. You convince yourself that you're not ready, that you'll fail, that it's too hard. This inner dialogue, the constant self-doubt, is the very thing that stops you from moving forward. Every time you hesitate, every time you second-guess yourself, you are placing a roadblock in front of your own path. And it's easy to blame external circumstances. Maybe you blame your upbringing, your lack of resources, or the economy. But the real reason you aren't where you want to be is because you're too focused on the limitations you've placed on yourself. You're the one stopping you. Take a look at successful people. Do you think they're different from you? Do you think they don't have the same fears and doubts? They do. But the difference is, they don't let those fears stop them. They push through them. They don't let their own minds talk them out of success. They understand that they are their own biggest obstacle, and they do whatever it takes to break through the mental walls they've built. Think about someone who has a dream to be an artist. They're full of creativity, ideas, and vision, but they never pick up the brush. Why? Because they're afraid that their work won't be good enough. They fear rejection, fear judgment, fear the risk of failing. They stand in their own way. But every time they don't take action, they get further away from their dream. Success isn't just about having talent. It's about taking action, overcoming your fear, and trusting yourself enough to take that first step. Every successful person started somewhere, often with little more than determination and the willingness to fail and keep going. The difference is they didn't let their own doubts keep them from moving forward. Now, think about fitness again. How many times have you looked in the mirror and told yourself that you weren't in shape, that you couldn't run that mile or lift that weight? How many times have you held yourself back, convinced that you weren't capable of reaching your fitness goals? That's you being your own biggest obstacle. Every time you don't show up to the gym, every time you choose comfort over effort, you are the one standing in your way. It's not the gym, it's not the weight, it's not the time, it's you. Your mind is telling you that it's too hard, but your body is capable of so much more than you give it credit for. The moment you decide to ignore that negative voice and push through, you'll find that the walls you've built up in your mind were never as strong as you thought. It's the same with career goals. So many people want to climb the ladder to get that promotion, to build their dream career, but they're too afraid to take risks. They're afraid of rejection, of failure, of not being good enough. But the truth is, these fears are just illusions. They are self-imposed obstacles that keep you stuck in the same place. If you want to move forward, you need to challenge those beliefs. You need to stop thinking of yourself as incapable, unworthy, or unqualified. Those are just stories you've been telling yourself. But the real story is that you have everything you need to succeed within you. The only thing standing in your way is the belief that you can't. There's a powerful realization that comes with understanding that you are your own biggest obstacle. Once you recognize that the biggest thing holding you back is your own mindset, you can begin to change it. You can start shifting your focus from fear to action. Instead of thinking about all the ways things could go wrong, start thinking about how you'll handle setbacks. Instead of worrying about failure, think about the lessons you'll learn from it. Every time you face a fear, every time you push through the discomfort, you build strength. You create a version of yourself that doesn't back down, that doesn't let self-doubt win. And as you break through each barrier you've set for yourself, you'll realize that you're capable of far more than you ever imagined. Look at the challenges you're facing today. What's the biggest obstacle in your life right now? Is it something outside of you? Or is it the thoughts, the doubts, the fear in your mind telling you that you can't do it? Once you recognize that the real battle is not out there but within, you gain the power to change everything. It's not about the external circumstances. It's about how you respond to them. When you stop standing in your own way, when you stop letting fear control your actions, you'll start moving forward at a pace you never thought possible. The only thing that's holding you back is you. And once you decide to stop letting yourself be the obstacle, that's when everything starts to change. Talent is a gift, something that some people are born with, and it's great to have. It's the thing that allows some people to pick up a skill faster than others or to perform at a higher level effortlessly. But talent alone is never enough. Talent can get you into the door, but it's consistency that keeps you there. We live in a world where many people are constantly chasing that one big break, that moment where their natural abilities will shine and put them on top. But the truth is, talent doesn't matter unless it's paired with consistency. And that's where many people go wrong. They have the talent, they have the potential, but they don't have the commitment to keep showing up day after day. You've probably seen it in your own life. Think about that person who has raw talent. Maybe they're amazing at sports, music, or even business ideas. They've got the skill, the flair, the creativity, but what do they lack? They lack the consistency to turn that talent into something real. Maybe they start something with all the passion in the world, but after a few failures or a bit of struggle, they quit. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of having talent, but it's not enough to just show up when it feels good. Consistency means showing up when it's hard, when you don't feel like it, when the passion starts to fade and the results aren't there yet. Now, think about someone who isn't naturally gifted but works tirelessly every single day. Maybe they don't have the best voice, the best body, or the fastest reflexes, but what they do have is an unrelenting commitment to their craft. They practice when others are resting, they work when others are partying. They know that talent is temporary, but hard work and consistency build empires. They understand that the small efforts you put in every single day accumulate over time to create something far bigger than a flash of talent ever could. This is where we see the difference between people who make it and those who don't. Consistency is what turns a small idea into a successful business, what turns an average athlete into a world champion, and what turns a beginner musician into a top performer. The person who's willing to keep going, even when it feels like they're not making progress, will eventually surpass the person who relies solely on talent. You see it all the time with people who get by on their natural gifts, but they never really go anywhere because they don't put in the effort to improve. They rest on their laurels, thinking that being good at something is enough to get by. But consistency is what propels someone from good to great. Take an example from sports. Think about the story of someone like Michael Jordan. Many people know that Jordan was incredibly talented, but did you know that he was also known for his tireless work ethic? He didn't just rely on his talent to get him through games. He worked endlessly on his skills, constantly refining his game, practicing even when he didn't need to. He was cut from his high school basketball team. If he had relied solely on his talent, he might have just given up right there. But what did he do? He went home, worked harder, and came back stronger. His consistency, his refusal to let setbacks stop him, turned him into one of the greatest athletes of all time. It wasn't just his talent, it was his daily grind, his commitment to improvement, and his relentless consistency that took him to the top. Think about it in terms of fitness. You might know someone who has an incredible physique, who looks like they've stepped out of a magazine, and you might think, wow, they're lucky, they were just born with it. But if you look closer, you'll realize that their results weren't just due to good genes. They were the result of daily consistency. They wake up early, they hit the gym, they stick to a healthy routine, even on days they don't feel like it. They don't make excuses, they make progress. Consistency is the key to transforming their body, not just talent. It's easy to get discouraged when you're not seeing results immediately, but the person who stays consistent, who keeps pushing forward even when the gains aren't visible, is the one who will eventually succeed. In business, consistency is everything. How many times have you seen an entrepreneur with an amazing idea who falls short because they didn't put in the consistent effort to grow it? Maybe they launch a product, make some initial sales, but then they stop pushing forward when things slow down. On the other hand, you've got the entrepreneur who might not have the most groundbreaking idea, but they keep showing up every day. They refine their pitch. They improve their product. They keep hustling even when things get tough. Over time, they build a brand, they gain loyal customers, and they become successful. Their consistency overpowers the person who had the flash of brilliance but didn't follow through. Talent is a blessing, but it's consistency that builds the legacy. We live in a world that rewards persistence. It rewards the people who keep showing up, keep grinding, keep getting better. You might not be the most naturally talented person in the room, but if you show up every day, if you work harder than anyone else, if you are consistent in your efforts, you'll end up leaving talent in the dust. It's the people who never stop, who never give up, who keep learning, adapting, and growing that end up achieving the success they deserve. Don't let the idea of talent fool you. Talent alone won't get you where you want to go. It's not enough to be good at something. You have to be willing to put in the hours, to face the challenges, to push through when things get tough. Consistency is what turns small efforts into monumental achievements. So the next time you feel like giving up, remember this talent might open the door, but consistency is what keeps it open. It's the daily, relentless commitment to improvement that leads to greatness. So ask yourself, are you relying on talent, or are you building something that will last through consistency? Because in the end, it's the people who are willing to show up day after day that are the ones who succeed. When you look at the world's most successful people, you're not just seeing their talent, their brilliance, or their charisma. You're seeing their daily unyielding commitment. You're seeing their relentless pursuit of greatness day after day, despite the obstacles, despite the setbacks, despite the doubts. Because success isn't about having the right circumstances. It's about what you do with the circumstances you're given. It's about showing up when no one's watching, when no one's cheering you on, and still giving it your all. That's where true power lies. Think about it. How many dreams have you let slip away because you didn't feel like doing the work? How many times have you given up when things got tough? The truth is, greatness doesn't care about your feelings. Greatness doesn't care about the weather, about your energy levels, or about the hard days. Greatness cares about consistency, about the decision to keep going. No matter what, it's about the relentless pursuit of your goals when others are taking breaks, when others are making excuses. And remember, this journey isn't about being perfect. It's about progress. It's about the small victories you celebrate each day when you show up, when you push yourself past the limits, and when you do what others are unwilling to do. When you're in the middle of the grind, it might feel like no one notices. It might feel like you're pouring all your energy into something that doesn't yield instant results. But trust me, the world doesn't reward overnight success. The world rewards the ones who put in the work consistently, the ones who build their empire brick by brick, day after day. Greatness doesn't happen in a day, but every day counts. Every day is an opportunity to move one step closer to your dreams. Every day you decide to give more, to push further, to do better, is a victory. You don't have to be the most talented. You don't have to be the smartest. You don't have to be the strongest. You just have to be the most consistent. You just have to make the decision that no matter what, you will not stop. You will not quit. You will not let the small setbacks and failures stop you from reaching your true potential. Because success, true success, isn't about avoiding the failures. It's about how you handle them, how you rise after every fall. It's about how you keep pushing, how you keep going, even when it feels like no one is watching, even when it feels like no one believes in you. So when you feel like giving up, remember this: the difference between those who succeed and those who fail isn't talent, it's perseverance. It's the will to keep going, even when everything inside you tells you to stop. Greatness isn't given, it's earned. It's earned through the blood, sweat, and tears you put into your craft every single day. And when you put in the work, when you keep showing up, when you keep pushing yourself beyond your limits, you'll look back one day and realize that all those small efforts, all those days when you didn't want to do it, all those times when you thought you couldn't go on, were the moments that built your success. Don't wait for motivation. Create your own motivation. Make it a habit to do what others won't. Make it a habit to show up when others are making excuses. Greatness doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who work for it day in and day out. So be relentless, be consistent. Keep going, because at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is this: the grind is real and the rewards are worth it. Remember, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. And it's consistency, not talent, that will turn your dreams into reality. Keep showing up and watch the world open up to you.